All right, I told y'all we was gonna be building a pantry with a Murphy table. So I've been working on that, and I saved y'all the boredom of building the box because everybody knows how to build a box. A box is a box is a box. But let's walk over here and take a look at it. This is it. It's all extended out. I'll show y'all what we got going on so far, but then I'll show you the meat and potatoes of what we're gonna do. We're gonna get this table going. Let's take a look at it. There's the legs. I'm gonna mortise that in right there. That's what we're fixing to get started on. Here's the oh, that's templates. Candlestick table legs. Nobody on YouTube except for old Norm Abrams makes any of them, but I've got to restore one. It's antique, really, really old. Probably not gonna make a video on doing that, but I might make one and do a video on that. I think that'd be cool. Ain't nobody done one since old Norm Abrams did one. We did this 60-degree profile all the way around it. This is old pine stair treads, 1-inch stair treads you can get at Lowe's. Pretty nice, but this is the actual door the pantry is going to come out of. Here's the doors. I couldn't put regular knobs on them because the table is going to fold down out this way, so I couldn't put regular knobs on it, so I put finger wells in here for getting the doors open. I still got to go back and put soft close hinges on them. He doesn't want these hinges on here that's on here, but they're just some I had laying around the shop just to hold it on there for now. Everything's drilled. The other hinges go back in the exact same way, so everything's ready. But anyway, we're gonna put a Murphy table in there, that table over there, into this cabinet at about 30 inches high. It'll fold down out of here, out across here, so they'll have a place to sit and eat in their kitchen. So we got to get busy building the legs. I'll show y'all real quick. These are the hinges I'm going to use. When you open them up, they lock in the open position. But what I really liked about them is that it locks kind of secure into in the closed position. This was the open position. They lock. They kind of lock in the other position, and that's what's going to keep this table from wanting to fall out of the wall when you open the pantry door. But anyway, let's go get busy. We got to get these legs mortised. This is my first time ever using a mortising machine, so we'll all be learning together. Or at least y'all probably already know, and I'll be learning how to operate this thing. I have no clue. I know that my stop needs to be set at 1 inch. That's crazy. Can't get nothing under there. Find another way to do that real quick. This is my machinist square, and I know that that's exactly 1 inch, and that these are a little bit proud of 1 inch on both sides. Well, on one side, so we'll have to go a little bit deeper than 1 inch or cut that off. So my board's 2 inches thick. I want to go a little bit deeper than that. Not that deep though. One inch. Inch and a 16th. Not gonna worry about that. All right. I've already laid them out, how far they are. We just set it up with how far out and how far down we gotta go. Now all I gotta do is hope that everything I did is right. Because if not, I don't have any more of this. This is all leftover scraps from my brand new outfeed table. Okay. I remember now what I was told. That is what that thing is for, to keep that from happening. Look at that. That's a nice square hole. And there it is. Now we'll check it and make sure it's square. A little bit more. All right. Check it here, it's 15. There we go. I'll set that to the side and let that dry. All right. While I'm waiting on glue to dry, I'm going to address an issue with these Grizzly miter gauges, not being able to attach a sacrificial fence to it. So what I'm going to do is drill it out and tap it. That way we can put a sacrificial fence on this thing It absolutely sucks without one. Don't it, Calvin? I know that smell. All right. Now we're gonna put a tap in. Yes, I don't have the tool. Put a tap in it. A little wrenchy thing, or whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to use a crescent wrench, because it'll work just as good. Put a little oil on it. Just helps cut the threads in there. Take your time when you're getting these things started. You don't want it crooked or cross-threaded. I know some people that can cross-thread anything. I'm not gonna say any names. Trying to get that all over my work surface here, which I've already managed to do. I think I need some more light in this area of the shop over here. That's what I need. I need one of these light companies to let me do a review of their shop lights. I'd be more than happy to hang them up in my shop. Tell them where they work, how good they work, or how good they don't work. Either way, at least I'll be honest about it. There we go. Cast iron's pretty soft, not that hard to thread. I think I'll be done with this before the glue dries. We'll go up to a 3/8. And then on the other side, we'll have to countersink the heads of the bolts down into it a little bit. Now we should be able to bolt it right to the front of this grizzly miter gauge. Go a little bit deeper on this one. All right, so I was off a little bit. Not much. I'm gonna have to take it back apart, run it through the table saw, and take that. Not quite an eighth, but really close to an eighth off all the way down. So we'll take care of that next. Which means we get to take it back apart. First things first, get the dado stack out. Put that in there to run the tenons earlier. I really don't like this DeWalt dado stack. Not that it doesn't work. It's really rough. And really hard to get off of here. Alright. That was more fun than it had to be. Freebie. I don't know where the other blade is right now. I got about 10 of them laying around there too. Whether or not this is square with the blade, I guess we'll have to check later. I cut about 2 foot of this off down here. Got a little set screw back here. You have to get this pin out of the way. It's the little thing that tells you what angle you're on. Who needs that anyway? It ain't like I can see it without glasses on. See? Oh, not too bad. Even without glasses. Okay, and this thing's got little adjusters for the 45, one for 90 here, and then one for the other 45, but it's got a stop right here that sort of folds out of the way. I guess you have to loosen it up to do that though. Interesting. I've been using this thing from Timu on my other table saw, which once I did, well, yeah, had to do a lot to it to get it to where it worked right, but finally got it. What? I'll check this one, see if it's square. Look down. It was nice and straight at least. Still gotta cut a foot off of it a little more. I think I'm gonna do it by hand. Go down like if we were cutting 3/4. There's some of that Claro walnut that the bearded Viking likes so much. Well, I've got about, safely about 13.5 inches. Yeah, about 13.5. We'll go with that. If you're running into that problem with a grizzly saw and your miter gauge doesn't have, not bad, no way to attach a sacrificial board to it, just drill it and tap it. That's what I did. All right, I'm gonna get everything set up, put these in. I want it like that so you can just pull down and pick up on them. Or do I want it like that so it has to pull up and pick up on it? I think down is going to be easier. So we'll do this. And we'll put a clamp right there over that little ear and flush to the side. Should help hold it in place. I'm gonna make sure the flush back here on the back, which we are not by, I don't know how much that is, maybe the thickness of a business card. Now we just got to mount that in the cabinet. I think we're still waiting on legs to dry. Alright, since I was still waiting on the legs to dry, we can go ahead and put the hinges on the bottom for the legs. We get a square line across here, real light. I'm not gonna make it real dark, you know? Gotta get all that off later. Gotta take this one back apart. I was playing with it earlier, just seeing how they work. Ooh, I don't want to set that on my tabletop because it's got nails sticking out the bottom. This is a piece of cabinet from somewhere. And I suspect if we don't get them right, it probably might not work at all. All right, we'll move this top out of the way. Now we gotta do some work on the legs. All right, I just checked the bottom right here. I know that it's square. So we're gonna measure off of that, back up. And the table, the bottom of it will be 29 inches off the floor. And I've got these in case the floor ain't level. So I think what we'll do is we'll go 28 on these two. And then these, well, maybe we should measure and check and see how much adjustment them give us. May end up going 28 and a half. Well, they give us 2 inches, but we don't want to screw them all the way out. Yeah. We're gonna go more than 28 and a half because that's the mistake that I made on my outfeed table. So instead of raising and lowering my outfeed table, once I got it all done, my outfeed table was a 1/16 of an inch high. So I had to raise this 508-pound beast up a 1/16 of an inch to match my outfeed table, instead of raising my outfeed table up what I thought was going to be a 1/4 of an inch on the legs. So I think we'll just go 28. That gives us 1 inch. We got almost 3/4 here, so it shouldn't be sticking out, but about a 1/4 of an inch, maybe a 1/2 inch at most. So let's get busy on that. I'm gonna mark both of them. Well, that one's 28 and a half already. And that one's 28 and 3/4. So we're gonna go 28. And 28. All right, now I'll take that over here to the chop saw. This time I'll turn my vacuum system on. Back up here, and what we're going to do is make a mark from that corner back to find center on both of these legs. Then we're going to drill it out big enough to put this in. Then we're going to take a Forstner bit and drill out. Well, we'll take the Forstner bit first and drill this out here to 1 inch down about, I don't know, just a little bit, enough for that to kind of sink in. There. And then deep enough for the legs to go in. So we'll get started on that. Inch is a little more. Man, that's a hard piece of paint. Just a little bit bigger. Not much, but big enough that you make sure these threads ain't rubbing and catching on stuff. Make sure we get this kind of straight. It don't have to be perfect. they seem to be working pretty good. Locked into place. And fold down. Perfect. All right. Now, the last thing to do is attach it to this cabinet, which I've got to add whatever the height of the wheel dolly that I got this cabinet sitting on to this before I screw this together, or else I'll be doing it twice. And sometimes it's best to think about things before you do them. I've never been that way. I'm just a do it, mess it up, figure out what's got to happen to fix it type of guy. Kind of like when I put this big sideways drawer in with the undermount slides down here. It's so heavy that it kept wanting to lean, so I put another drawer slide here, and up in here you won't be able to see it, but up in here I put a guide block up here that stops the top of it as well as from leaning this way, but it stops it from wanting to fall out this way, because the drawer slides on the bottom for undermount are 21 inches. And this is a 20-inch drawer slide. The ones on the bottom will come out 17 inches. This one comes out 18 inches. So that was a problem. I couldn't push it back far enough to get all of that out in the adjustment. I pushed it back as far as it would go, and it's still like a ½ inch more that it'll come out at the top than it will at the bottom. So definitely next time, if I ever have to build one of these again, which I don't think I will, I really hope I don't have to. I do not mind building cabinets, but this was ridiculous. This thing's gonna be heavy. I put the adjustable shelves in here for him because he's got all kind of big tools. I gotta vacuum this thing out. Filthy. And like I said, I couldn't put no hardware on it, so I put finger wells everywhere for all the doors, which I think gives the cabinets a cleaner look myself personally. But on this one, I put finger wells on both sides so you can pull it out with both hands. All right, I drew a line in here earlier. That's why I say it's best to think about things, because I drew a line in here earlier. I marked 30 off the floor, which is what I needed to do, but what I didn't take into consideration is I've got this thing sitting on the Harbor Freight dust collector wheeled base thing. Being as how I took all the dust collection system off of that, I'm just using it to set big stuff on and move around the shop. Works great for that. Nice to have. All right, we've got this all set up. I taped some boards in here, right there on my line. I'm gonna let that table rest on that. Then I'm gonna use the legs, being as how this thing is 4 inches. I found this butcher block. These are 2 inches thick. Now I'm just gonna take the legs and open them up and set them on this, set the table in there, screw this thing down. So y'all sit right here and we'll see if we can't get this done. We'll make sure we give ourselves, let's make sure y'all can even see what's going on here. Here, I'll set y'all on the table. Over here on the side, right here, we don't want it rubbing every time we try to open and close this. And we have to leave it far enough off this side over here that it's not hitting the doors or whatever, you know? So, I think we've got it about where we want it, about 1/4 of an inch. That's what I left myself in the math anyway. I'm gonna put some screws in it. We'll start right here in the middle. Should be just about perfect. I'll move you guys out of the way. We'll try to close this thing up and see what happens. So, what's happening here is it's binding up on that back edge. So, I think I gotta take all of this back apart and roll that back edge and put the same bevel on it. At least we got all our screws started once. And like I said, first time I've ever built one of these, so you guys know much about building this one as I do, because I have no clue. Never done this before. Yeah, I think a round over on this back edge. We'll take this back over here with us. We'll take it back apart. One more time. Maybe one more time, maybe two. Trial and error. The good news is, we've already got all our holes drilled to put it back. So, that helps out a little bit. The whole time it was hanging up, and I done took it over there and took it apart and put it back together and took it apart and put it back together. It was the stops, these things that I had to hold it up temporarily while I put the screws in, that was binding up under it with the tape that was stopping it from closing the whole time.
Of course, that's why
Yeah.
It's all wisdom.
See, I told you my teacher never learned me anything.
Me neither.